Okay, so we're talking about distance formula today. I am going to show you how Pythagorean theorem is related to distance formula. So if you remember Pythagorean theorem, it's a squared plus b squared is equals c squared. The right angle is across from c, the hypotenuse. So we're going to split this in half, and we're going to do the distance formula on one side and then use Pythagorean theorem on the other side on the same points. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So this is the distance formula part. We have parentheses 8 minus 2 squared plus negative 2 minus negative 10 squared. And then we're going to plug all of this in your calculator. So just make sure you know how to do that. Square root of parentheses 8 minus 2 squared plus parentheses negative 2 minus negative 10 squared. You'll end up getting 10. So you can plug the whole thing in the calculator. But I'm going to solve it step by step as well to kind of show you how it compares to this side when we get to it. 8 minus 2 is 6 squared. Negative 2 minus a negative 10 is 8 squared. D equals 36 plus 64. So the square root of 100, which is 10, which is what our answer was. We're just going to use this to compare to this side. So now we're going to go over here, and I'm going to plot these 2 points, 8, negative 2, and 2, negative 10. And then I'm going to connect the dots. And I have my line now. So I'm trying to figure out the distance between those 2 points. And I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem to do that. And what that means is I'm going to start on this dot. I'm going to draw a vertical line down to where it's even with this dot. And I've now created a right triangle. Okay, so as far as Pythagorean theorem works, my A and my B are, the two legs of the triangle. My hypotenuse is what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for my C. I know my A and B because I can count them. This goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units over, or it goes from 2 to 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. And then this one goes from negative 2 to negative 10, which is 8 units apart. And so that's where my A and my B go. You may start seeing some similarities between these two. So 6 squared plus 8 squared. 6 squared plus 8 squared equals 100. And then the square root of that is 10. Why am I taking the square root? Because I don't want c squared, I want c all by itself, and the only way to get rid of a square root is to get rid of that square is to take the square root and get rid of it. But let's just talk about the similarities between Pythagorean theorem and distance formula. Distance formula was actually derived from the Pythagorean theorem. This was thought up first by Pythagoras. And then later on, the distance formula is really just taking the Pythagorean theorem and kind of condensing it and using it to solve for points instead of triangle lengths. Okay, so the distance between the x's, or the difference of the x's, would be your A. The difference of your y's would be your B. So it's like this is A, this is B. And then your C is going to be your distance, okay? But they're essentially the same thing. It's just two different ways to solve it. And then next, we are going to do the distance formula, x1, y1, x2, y2, just to get some more practice of this. So we've got negative 2 minus 0 squared plus negative 8 minus 14 squared. We could plug all of this in the calculator. parentheses, -2 minus 0 squared plus -8 minus 14 squared. We're going to get 22 point, and that's 0, 9, and when we round it to the nearest tenth, that 9 bumps that 0 up to a 1. So if this second number is 5 or higher, then the 0 gets bumped up. If this second number was 4 or lower, the 0 would remain a 0. It would not get bumped up. Alright, and then the last one, you should pause and plug these numbers in, and then watch me see if you're getting the same answer. Okay, so pause your screen right now. Solve this. Okay, so you can plug this into the calculator. You can do separately. This becomes 2 squared. -6 minus 16 becomes -22 squared. Things that, the reason I typically have people just put it all in the calculator is because if you don't use parentheses there, it's going to give you the wrong answer for that negative sign. And it just so happens that's the exact same answer. What a coincidence. There it is. But you could also just put this whole thing in the calculator and got that same thing.